Good morning, third grade. It is time for reading for this week. Our reading stories this week are going to be all about immigration. So if you take out your small reading book, we're on page 144. And you see a black and white picture there of a time in the past where people were immigrating. So you can see it's a time way in the past. See, they've got carts with those wheels instead of cars. So we're going to learn about immigration and what they were doing. See here, finding a home. Welcome to Hester Street. Many immigrants moved here and worked on this New York City street. They came for many reasons. Here's 3 reasons those immigrants might have come. 1, immigrants dreamed about new jobs. 2, they felt there were lots of opportunities. And 3, they believed their lives would be better. So we're talking about immigration when people were going to move so that they could find a better life. If you turn the page, we'll see some of those 8 vocab words we're going to learn about this week. Your vocab worksheet looks like it did last week, where you've got all 8 of those words, and feel free to either write a sentence or draw a picture that matches each of those words. If you want to do that after I give the definition of each word, feel free. Just take out your Monday reading story worksheet and be on the back on the vocab. The first word is arrived. If you arrived, you get to where you are going. So Aunt Sophie was so happy when we arrived at her house. All right, so you can go ahead and pause this if you want. You can do your vocab word arrived and either write a sentence, maybe you arrived at school or wherever, or you could draw a picture of you arriving somewhere or somebody arriving. Next word, immigrated. Immigrated means to have come to a new country to live. So if people move to the United States from another country, they're immigrating. For example, my great-grandpa immigrated from Denmark. So he came over from Denmark in Europe, and he moved to the United States. So that's immigrating, right? When he moved his whole family to a new country. A lot of times when we think about immigration, people are coming to America because they are looking for a better life. So in Ireland at one time, there was this huge potato famine, and all the potato crops were destroyed, and because of the weather and stuff like that. So they had to, a lot of the people immigrated to the United States to find better life. All right? So anytime we're talking about people coming from another country to the United States or moving from the United States to another country, we're talking about immigration. Next, inspected. Inspected means to have looked at something closely or carefully. So you can see here, Stacy inspected this pine cone. All right, if you inspect, you're looking really, really closely. Feel free to write either a sentence or draw a picture for that. Moment. A moment is a very short amount of time. For example, think about a match. If you light a match, the match only stays lit for a moment, right? If you light it long enough to light a candle or help start a bonfire or something like that, it only stays lit for a little bit. It's just a moment, right? A short period of time. Sentence or a picture for that one. Next word, opportunity. An opportunity is a chance for good things to happen. So every day when you have your homework, you have an opportunity to earn a fantastic grade, right? It's an opportunity, a chance. Our class had an opportunity to visit the museum. You can see them visiting the museum looking at that exhibit. Next word, photographs. Photographs are pictures taken with a camera. So you can see here, a photograph picture taken with a camera. Now, it doesn't have to be, it could be like a cell phone camera or something like that, but think about that. You could draw a picture, either draw a picture of a camera, you could draw a picture of a photograph of your family, whatever. Next word, valuable. If something is valuable, it's worth a lot of money. Or it means a lot to them. For example, this card is probably really valuable to this boy's grandmother. Now, does the paper cost a lot of money? No, but probably the message he wrote inside was really meaningful, made it very valuable to his grandmother. Last word, whispered. Whispered means spoken in a very quiet voice. In a very quiet voice. So, if you are whispering, you're talking really, really quiet so that just the people close to you can hear and not the entire room. All right, now today we'll have those new vocab words in our first story. Our first story is called Sailing to America. Our genre is our historical fiction this week. It's on page 118. Get your pointy finger out and make sure you're following along with me. Sailing to America. Why do people immigrate to new places? Read about why one family came to America. Nora woke early. She hadn't slept much. It was March 1895. Da was leaving for America today. Uncle Sean immigrated there last year and found work right away. He asked Da to join him. It was Ma and Da's dream to one day live in America. Nora lit a lamp and sat down at the table. Her brother Danny joined her. "I feel like crying," he whispered softly. "I know," Nora answered. "So do I. But this is Da and Mama's dream. Da will find work and send for us. Look at the photographs that Uncle Sean sent. Doesn't America look grand?" "I don't want to ever leave Ireland," Danny said. "We won't have any friends in America. We'll be far away from Grandad, Patty, and Colleen." "Maybe you'll be glad it is in Ireland," Nora said. "There will be enough food to eat. Mama and Da can relax and not worry so much. We all have a better life. America will be the land of our dreams." Then Da carried a bag into the room. "Cheer up, my little loves. Why, in no time at all, you'll be joining me." Top of page 121. A year later, right, so now years passed. Dog went to America, and now kids are going to go. A year later, Da had saved enough money to send for his family. Mama, Danny, and Nora packed what they had. They got on a crowded steamship and began their voyage. The trip across the Atlantic Ocean was rough. The air inside the steamship smelled like a dirty sock. The ship tossed up and down for days. The waves were as big as mountains. Many passengers became seasick, but Nora and Danny felt fine. Every day, Nora daydreamed and reread Da's letters. She thought of the buildings and streetcars he wrote about. In her dreams, she could picture Da on a crowded street. He had a big smile on his face. 122. One morning, Nora awoke. A moment later, she realized something was different. The ocean was as smooth as glass. A few hours later, Nora, Danny, and Mama shivered together on the ship's deck. Snowflakes drifted through the air. Another traveler noticed and gave them a blanket. It was thin as a rag, but nothing could have been more valuable to them. Suddenly, someone shouted, "There's Lady Liberty!" As the ship passed the large statue, the crowd cheered. Someone shouted, "At last, we've arrived! We are in America!" Soon, everyone was singing and dancing. A ferry took the travelers to Ellis Island. In the main hall, the doctors inspected the family. They looked for signs of illness. Mama had to answer many questions. Nora knew that people didn't get an opportunity or another chance to take these tests twice. Nora looked at Danny, then at Mama. They had to pass. After a few hours, the family learned they could stay in America. As they filed off the ferry, Nora saw Uncle Sean's dark hair. Then she saw Da. His hands waved wildly. He had a big smile on his face. Dreams do come true, Nora thought, as she waved back. Now, keep this book open. Let's take a jump down to your reading worksheet and think about the story we just read. Now that you've listened to our story, we can get going on our worksheet for today. At the top, make sure you've got your name there. We read the story Sailing to America already. Question number 1, why do people immigrate to new places? Make sure you use a capital letter and write a complete sentences. Think about the story, why do people move? Sorry. People move to new places in search of a better life. Number 2, think about the story. Why did Nora and her family immigrate to America? How would the move make their lives better? Use details from the story. I would use at least 2 sentences there. When you're done with number 2, number 3 says, has anyone in your family ever moved to a new place? How did they feel? And if you can't think of anyone that moved to a new place in your family, think about, how do you think someone would feel if they had to move to a new place? Do you think they'd be excited? Do you think they'd be scared? Try to tell me why there. Then make sure when you're done, you've got your vocab done on the back as well. Remember, we've got our 8 different vocab words. You should be writing a picture or drawing a picture or writing a sentence for every single word. So your entire page should be filled. When you're done, tuck it back in your Monday folder.